Imagine you're in your freshman year of college, playing a sport. It took you a while to adjust between the differences of high school and college athletics, but you're finally starting to get it going. You're getting praise from your teammates and coaches, but you take a hit to the head in practice. You don't tell anyone because you feel as if it'll halt all the progress you've been making. The very next week, you take another hit, but you can't hide this one. Your vision goes black, and when you try to stand back up, you stumble over yourself and fall back down. Well, I don't have to imagine that because that's what exactly what happened to me. I ended up with a concussion, was out for nearly a month of practice, which caused struggles in my personal and social life. Injuries not only compromise an athlete's immediate performance, but leave lasting effects on their physical and psychological well-being. It is important to recognize that overcoming injuries is a challenging process in more ways than just physical. The physical impact of injuries is what you think about first when you hear someone has had one, but many neglect the psychological side of it. The physical impact injuries can have on the body aren't immediate, but can have long-lasting effects. This is a quote from Pro-Am Sports Medicine. Many athletes may feel soreness, swelling, and muscular weakness in the near term. They may also risk missing important tournaments and events. During my senior year of high school, I injured my knee in a football game. I played the rest of the year, but I didn't think it was that bad. By the end of the year, my knee was pretty banged up. I ended up with contusions, bursitis in my knee. It looked like a swollen balloon. And I ended up damaging the cartilage in my knee pretty badly. Due to the injuries I sustained in my athletic career, I have a slew of problems, especially my knee. When I do strenuous activities, exercise, I often have knee pain that is pretty severe. Even walking upstairs is hard. Concussions are the first thing people think of when they hear about injuries. When they think about injuries, they think about concussions, especially in contact sports. Here's a quote from the National Institute of Health. In addition to potentially causing neurocognitive and neuropsychiatric changes, exposure to multiple concussions or repetitive head impact exposures in sports may increase an athlete's risk for neurodegenerative disorders later in life, such as CTE. The effect injuries have on athletes aren't just physical, they are psychological too. When it comes to the effects injuries have on athletes, the psychiatric effects are often overlooked. When a student athlete is injured, there is a normal emotional reaction that includes processing the information about the injury given to them by the medical team that diagnosed them. There's also emotional responses like sadness, isolation, irritation, a lack of motivation, anger, frustration, change in appetite, sleep disturbance, and disengagement. This is from the NCAA Sports Science Institute. When I had my concussion, I felt alone, isolated. It caused me to fall into a depression. I had failed the concussion test twice, and I felt helpless. Many athletes struggle with getting back to play. They fear they'll get injured again. I had a fear if I went back out there, I'd get hurt again and fail. So I developed self-destructive habits. I stopped going to classes. I would fake being sick so I didn't have to go to class or practice. All of this resulted in me failing out of school. Injuries affect athletes in more ways than many people know. Injuries not only have physical impact on athletes' bodies, but also psychological impact on them. Injuries not only compromise an athlete's immediate performance, they have lasting effects on their physical and psychological well-being. It is important to recognize that overcoming injuries is a challenging process in more ways than just physical. The effects injuries have on athletes go beyond what is visible on the surface.